Gotti gang, was good? It's your boy Gotti. Back today with another reaction video. Now guys, I wanted to react to this because Honeykomb Brazy. I never listened to his music. Never have. I wanted to react to it simply because he's from Alabama. You know, I'm from Alabama also, so I gotta show love to my home state. You know what I'm saying? I heard his music is fire. Actually, never listened to a single song, but we gonna see what this video about. I don't know nothing about it. I just clicked on it because he was from Alabama. So we gonna check it out, bro. If y'all listen to Honeykomb Brazy, let me know down in the comment section right now. But I'm gonna need y'all to sit back, relax, grab your snacks while we react to this Honeykomb Brazy, bro. I guess this nigga a demon. Like his they're gonna be reacting to his past and like what he's done and like his troubled past. I guess whatever the case may be. But before I hit this play button, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to like the video. 3, 2, 1. Appreciate you, my boy. Shout out to you. You a real one. Appreciate you for liking the videos. Let's jump straight into it. I don't want to waste too much time, man.
Honeykomb Brazy is one of the hottest artists from Alabama, but the rapper has also had a pretty rough
I like Big Yavo.
Spending over 10 years in prison, going viral for getting shot on IG Live, and having to deal with the murder of his grandparents who were both killed and had their house set on fire. Now, the rapper will be going back to prison after being sentenced to 13.5 years for violating his probation by posing in a music video with guns and drugs. Let's take a closer look at the wild life and career of Honeykomb Brazy. Brazy grew up in Mobile, Alabama, an area that was full of drugs, crime, and violence. The rapper's parents were in and out of jail while he was growing up, and he often stayed with his grandparents. At age 10, he was arrested for the first time after breaking into a factory and riding go-karts with his friends until the police came. After that, he was put on probation.
This is just a young bad kid
He
shit.
didn't make it to high school, which his mom wasn't happy about. But there wasn't much she could say because she was in and out of jail herself. After that, he went and stayed with his aunt for a while.
Niggas from the trenches,
his own
bro.
cousin over a money dispute.
Whoa, wait. You shot your cousin?
Yeah, yeah.
Nigga shot
Like
his
on
own
accident?
cousin.
Nah, like on purpose.
He said,
Dog
like on
dad,
purpose.
where some money came up missing. His dad was locked up at the time on a murder charge, so Brazy handled the dispute for him. The cousin ended up paralyzed after the shooting, which caused problems between Brazy and his aunt. But he says that his cousin is back to walking and their relationship is fine now. He was only 13 at the time of the shooting and ended up going on the run before getting arrested. This would be the first time he was sent to prison and wouldn't get out until he was 16 or 17. Right after being released, he would get caught up in another situation where he was arrested for first-degree robbery and attempted murder. Brazy says that he didn't actually commit this crime. It was his friend Derek Det Thomas who pulled the trigger. They were together on the day of the robbery, and police reports showed that the victim was walking down the street when he was approached by 2 teens. They stopped and talked for a few minutes until one of them pulled out a gun and shot him in the leg. The other teen grabbed the money out of his pockets and they both ran away.
Yeah, Mobile dangerous,
later
bro.
identified as Det and Brazy. Det was the one who actually shot the victim, but because Brazy was more well known, they ended up arresting him first.
I can go to Mike.
On the day that Brazy appeared in court to face these charges, Det would end up getting murdered. He was shot and killed over a $5 dice game by a 40-year-old man named Anthony Williams. Brazy would end up doing 4 years for that charge, but as soon as he got back on the streets, he went right back to his old ways and caught another body.
You can't change a real nigga, bro.
Just after Brazy was released for robbery and attempted murder, he allegedly shot 22-year-old Ladarius Stank Moorer, who was a childhood friend. Stank was shot and killed at the Woodlands Apartments where he lived with his girlfriend.
Bro, I promise you, every city in Alabama got some apartments called the Woodlands, bro. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, bro. If you in Alabama and your city got some apartments named Woodlands, let me know, bro. Because I swear for God.
Let him in. He ended up kicking on the door and found Brazy inside, who was supposedly there to sell her weed. They started fighting, and eventually, someone pulled a gun, leaving Stank dead. This murder earned Brazy a ton of enemies in his hood because Stank was well known and loved in the area. Brazy went on the run for a while, but was eventually arrested and charged for the murder. He would end up beating the charge, but would spend over a year in jail fighting the case. While he was in jail, he would get into tons of fights and even admitted to stabbing 3 people in one day.
I stabbed 3 one day.
Plus, he would even end up getting to spend some quality time with his family, spending 6 months in the same cell as his father, who was still serving time for murder. Brazy and his father have the same name, but different last names, so the jail staff didn't even know they were related. Brazy somehow got the murder charge overturned, but as soon as he was back on the streets, there was more problems. Stank's murder had turned his own hood against him, and many of his childhood friends were now his ops. Once he got out, Brazy would end up getting shot several times. One of the bullets hit him in the head, putting him into a coma for a week, and the doctor said that he would probably never walk again. But after a few months, the rapper was back on the streets and planning his revenge on the people that almost took his life. It was also around this time that he started booking studio time and decided to take rap more seriously. In June 2018, he dropped a track called Freestyle, which quickly went viral. It put him on the map as one of the hottest up-and-coming rappers from the South and eventually earned him a deal with Rap-A-Lot Records. Things seemed like they were going good for Brazy and that he may have made it out of the streets. But in February 2020, he was sent back to jail for violating his probation.
And breaking now at 10, a Mobile rapper is going back to prison just a few hours ago. A judge revoking probation for Honeykomb Brazy.
In 2016, the rapper was arrested on
Brazy
charges and sentenced to 15 years in jail for violating his probation. The court would eventually reduce the sentence and only made him do 18 months, then serve another 5 years of probation. In January 2020, his parole office filed a motion to have his probation revoked for possession of marijuana and a firearm. Brazy was brought back to jail, but the charge was dropped after the court failed to prove that he was actually in possession of the weed or the gun, and he was allowed to walk free. After being released, Brazy would end up getting into another shootout that almost got him this time. He and his homies were on Facebook.
Ooh, on IG Live. On IG Live, spraying the whole car. Hold up.
Back.
Look like they sprayed the whole dough, bro.
It's not clear if anyone was hit, but many think that Brazy and his crew were set up. Brazy even released a surveillance footage from outside the barbershop showing him and his people firing back in self-defense. Then, in February 2021,
oh yeah, look how bro was shooting,
broke
bro.
That Brazy's grandparents had been in February 2020.
Hold up.
It's not clear if anyone was hit, but many think that Brazy and his crew were set up. Brazy even released a surveillance footage from outside the barbershop showing him and his people firing back in self-defense.
Bro, he wiggling the gun, bro. What he doing?
Tragic news broke that Brazy's grandparents had been shot and killed, and their home had been burned to the ground while they were inside.
The grandparents of a local rapper shot and killed, then their home set on fire. The grim details just revealed by emotional family members at the scene.
Around 6:30 p.m. on February 17, 2021, the neighbors of Brazy's grandparents heard bullets tear through their home. A few minutes later, they went outside to find the neighbor's house on fire. Other witnesses reported that they had heard gunshots and then an explosion as the house went up in flames. It took 3 hours for firefighters to put out the fire, and by that point, everything was destroyed. But they were able to determine that 2 people inside the house had been killed. A witness said that he had heard over 100 gunshots, and he and his mother had to duck for cover. The 2 victims were later identified as Layla and Tony Lewis, the grandparents.
Bro, how you gonna go after the grandparents, bro?
Layla
Come
and
on,
Tony
bro.
Lewis, and were the head of their families. And we've also learned that they are the grandparents of local rapper Honeykomb Brazy.
They were in their 60s and well-loved members of the community. After the news broke, the rapper posted a photo of his grandparents to IG to mourn his loss, writing, "Long live Grandma and Grandpa. Y'all was my heart, for real. I put y'all in every song. I hate y'all got caught up in my shit. Shaking my head. This shit hurt, man. I begged y'all to let me move y'all every day, but y'all taught me how to be a stand-up guy. Y'all told me if it's our time, it's our time. God got us. That's how I know y'all in heaven. Y'all baby boy got y'all for sure. Granny, I'ma miss you bad already, and I'ma for sure miss smoking that gas with you, Grandpa. Y'all saved me a spot, so I'm definitely coming to see y'all." The viciousness of the attack shows that it was not only targeted, it was personal. Brazy wasn't even immobile at the time of the murder, so they intended to go after his grandparents. Police later identified a man named Darren Jamark Southall as a person of interest in the case.
Yeah, that's right, Lenise. And that's just part of the story. The big news tonight is that for the first time since Tony and Layla Lewis were murdered inside of their home months ago, detectives telling me they're taking a long, hard look at a guy named Darren Southall.
Southall is an accused drug pin with ties to the Gulf Cartel who had escaped from prison. Southall is accused of overseeing a massive drug operation that sold crack, cocaine, and fentanyl all along the Gulf Coast. He's currently facing federal drug charges. Southall was not arrested in connection to the murder, but named by police as a person of interest. The 42-year-old is being investigated because he's the uncle of Stank, the 22-year-old that Brazy allegedly murdered back in 2016. The family connection explains why the killers would take it to such a brutal extreme. But police say that Stank's murder may not be the only reason for the double homicide, and there's likely more to their beef than just that. At this point, Southall has not been arrested for the crime, but is being investigated. The murder does seem to be more serious than a regular neighborhood beef. The victims were not only 2 innocent people, they were killed in a cold, planned way that sent a serious message. There's a big difference between spraying a house with bullets and accidentally hitting an innocent bystander and targeting family members by burning down their home while they're inside.
You went after him.
So it seems like the rapper may have had an enemy that's even crazier than he is. All in all, Brazy spent over a decade in prison, even though he's only in his late 20s and he's been shot at more than 8 times. His ops have even given up trying to take him out and have turned to going after anyone close to him. But if the life of Honeykomb Brazy wasn't wild enough, the rapper would end up getting sent back to jail just recently for violating his probation by appearing in a rap video with guns and drugs. Brazy is still on probation for the 2016 case where he was booked for being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm.
A local rapper is back in the headlines tonight. Honeykomb Brazy in jail on gun and drug charges.
He only served 18 months of his 15-year sentence, and now the court wants him to go back and serve the additional 13 and a half years. They tried to get him once before for violating his probation, but the charges didn't stick. Now, they got all the evidence they need from his own music videos and social media. The court was able to put together 15 different video clips that show Brazy with firearms and drugs. His lawyers tried to argue that anything appearing to be guns or drugs were fake and just props that were being used for videos because the use of any real weapons or drugs goes against his company's insurance policy. But the court pointed to the incident that happened back in 2020 when Brazy and his crew were shot at in Montgomery County and fired back. Clearly, they weren't using prop guns then, so Brazy was around real guns at some point. But the rapper wasn't actually the one shooting any guns, and his boys were acting in self-defense. Prosecutors also accused Brazy of failing to check in with his probation officer, but his lawyers claimed that this was because he feared for his life and his grandparents were killed and didn't want to be seen anywhere that he could be tracked. The court also pointed out that at one point, he admitted to his parole officer that he had used marijuana and Percocet and traveled outside of the state to go to Houston, Texas. These are all violations of his probation. So even if the evidence
this nigga just don't care, bro.
They clearly show a lifestyle that he's actually living. The judge took several weeks to review the evidence and determined that Brazy should finish out the remainder of his 15-year sentence for refusing to follow the terms of
they finna book him, bro.
Looks like Jones is going back
They
to
finna
prison
book him,
for a
bro.
long time.
Yeah, it does, Byron and Lenise. Jones only served 18 months of a 15-year sentence on a gun charge.
You might as well get you some
lead.
lead.
About an hour ago that he'll now have to finish that original 15-year sentence.
It does seem like they may be out to get Brazy for all the trouble he's caused in the streets of Mobile. The rapper has said in interviews,
he said
it's
Mobile,
not just
it's
him,
Mobile,
his whole
bro.
family that is living that life.
It's
Mobile,
Mobile,
locked up for a
bro.
murder charge. His uncle's doing a bid in federal prison, and all his cousins are well known in the streets. He's been going back and forth from prison since he was just a kid, and has been on probation since he was 10 years old. So Brazy isn't the kind of rapper who's just
How you
making
put a
up stories
10-year-old on probation?
He's really out here, not only with people from his own hood, but serious criminals with connections to the cartel. It seems like the life he's been living has finally caught up to him, and the cops want to put him away before anyone else gets hurt. Honeykomb Brazy is another example of a rapper who got caught up in a cycle of trying to be a gangster and a rapper at the same time. Although being a real thug is what made his music blow up, once you start getting millions of views, it can be hard to stay active in the
Facts,
street.
bro. You can't.
Either you're gonna end up in jail or people close to you are gonna get hurt.
Facts.
Unfortunately, Brazy has had to deal with both, even though he had a promising career ahead of him in the music industry. Hopefully, he's got a good team and some lawyers who can get his charges overturned or his sentence reduced. But it seems like it may be a while before fans get to hear another track from Honeykomb Brazy. If you thought this video was crazy, be sure to check out our channel for more. From rappers killed by friends to rappers who ran from cops, we cover the most insane stories that you need to hear. Well, that's all for today. Please smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. Comment below what you want to see.
I'm just gonna do it for the end of this one, guys. Comment down below y'all thoughts. Y'all see more videos like this. Smash the like button. Follow me on all of my socials in the description. If you want to subscribe, go watch a few more videos. Make sure you really rock with your boy. I would never ask you to subscribe just to be subscribing. Because what's up there, stuck there. Until next time, it's been your boy Gotti, and I'm out. Peace.
Have you ever been broke standing in the rain? I treat that fucking shit